What's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining us tonight. Sorry we're a few minutes late. We were having technical difficulties. It's okay. You don't have to blame yourself. You don't have
It
to
was my
admit,
fault.
you don't have to admit to it at least, you know.
Oh, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my
Yeah,
fault.
all good. Tony, thanks for hopping on. Oh, look at you wearing the same shirt that's
Look,
in your Yeah.
here
This
we
is some
go. Here we go,
Sunshine
man.
State Adventure Coast swag.
Yeah.
Well, here, I'll do our welcome. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight on the stream. Hopefully, you are enjoying your evening. You've had a good start to the weekend so far, and looking forward to hanging out with Tony tonight as well. So, the goal for tonight is for you guys to get to know Tony and hear all about what he's doing with Vman1313 Adventures, as well as talking about the Panhandle Adventure Trail. We're going to talk about the Save Expo. We're going to talk about all kinds of good stuff. And then towards the end of our time together, we are going to officially announce the winner, or really the raffle winner, of our Merry Winchmas giveaway that I did, Tony. So during the December months and into January, anybody that purchased anything through my website got every dollar got you an entry into the giveaway. And so we're going to figure out who won tonight by using the wonderful website, randomnamepicker.com. It's great. Yeah,
Cool,
it's
cool.
pretty cool. Which I never put names in. I just put in order numbers. It's way easier that way
Oh, yeah.
than
Yeah.
put in all the order numbers than like the individual names. So that's enough from me. Tony, tell us about you. Who are you? What the heck are you doing? Why are you here?
I don't know that one.
That's
Well,
all
I'll
I know.
start with my intro of the what's up, right? It's Vman1313, man. Yeah, and I appreciate you having me with you here, man. It's awesome. It's been a long time coming, for real. Me and you
Absolutely.
doing something like this, and you and I have known each other. We knew each other for many years before we
Yeah, a
even
long time.
met. Talking about this stuff. So yeah, I'm just my hobby of having fun, getting out. I was looking back about 2013 was when I really started hitting dirt roads on a dual sport bike, and just finding as many dirt roads as I can. And 2018 was when I first got my first Jeep Wrangler, something to go overlanding in, and we did. Yeah, you have to. People don't like that word. Some people don't like that word, but yeah, we just started hitting up here and there, found the Georgia Traverse, and was like, dude, this is pretty fun. This is pretty cool. And really, that's what set it off, because I was like, man, that's cool. Where else can we go? And there's things here and there, but I was like, I want to go from north to south. I want to see Georgia the way Georgia is. Georgia is such a variety of
Oh,
things
yeah.
from south to the north. And so I already had a ton of routes going down to probably around Athens, maybe Macon. And then, I mean, after that, it was just, this is crazy. And since I was little, maps have been my thing. I mean, I was that weird, nerdy little kid that had map books. Everybody had their little comic books. I had map books. And it's just, looking at maps is like my fun thing. People read magazines or books or whatever. I look at maps. That's what I enjoy doing. And so little by little, it was just, that was cool. Made it from here. Let's go from the ocean to the mountains. And that was coast to crest. Let's go across Georgia again, but down south a little bit more. And it just took off, man. Just kept making more and more and more, and just enjoy doing it. Just enjoy doing it.
Yeah, man, you have I think the way that I originally found you was because of the Georgia Adventure Trail.
Yeah.
And I had seen somebody post about that. And I was like, oh man, Georgia Adventure Trail. And I thought that they were misnaming the Georgia Traverse, right? So I was like,
Yes.
oh, maybe they are just calling the Georgia Traverse the wrong thing.
I
And
regret it sometimes, naming it something so similar with a GAT, and it was just, the word adventure has always been like my
sure.
word,
Yeah,
basically, because it has a V in it, and so
sure.
I'm V, and so yeah, I mean, it's just always been my thing, and so I was like, man, I shouldn't have named it that, but it's starting to, and that is my flagship route right
It
now,
is, yeah.
and
So
it
that
just
was
got
the
a.
first one you made, is that correct?
That's the first one I made, yeah.
Yeah.
And now that Vman1313 has gone more a different way, I didn't update it. I upgraded it. I added Popcorn Road, Charlie's Creek, and then I made some really cool other things I always wanted to put in there, but it was always that trying to keep riff-raff out type of thing, you know,
Sure.
no offense to anybody, but, you know, always there were some jams that I just didn't want to put in there. But now I'm like, yeah, it's all no holds bar now. Let's make it as best, you know, the best that I can make it.
Sure.
And so,
That's
yeah, it's
awesome,
been,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah, we because I think I reached out to you. I don't remember what year it would have
I
been,
was
but
trying to find when the first time we started
yeah,
talking about routes and
yeah.
stuff.
But
Yeah.
I remember looking at the Georgia Adventure Trail and being like, okay, I need to go, I need to run this. And you know, at that point, I had already done the Traverse a couple times and had, you know, obviously done a bunch of off-roading in Florida and stuff like that. But my dad, my buddy Sean, who had like a totally stock Toyota Highlander on Falcon Wild Peaks, and another friend of mine, Chris, who they're actually both Georgia guys. They used to live in Florida. That's how I know, but they moved to Georgia. They met up with me. So my dad and my two brothers and I loaded in my dad's Silverado because my Xterra wasn't ready at the time. I broke in an axle or something, and we loaded in his Silverado. And I mean, it was awesome. It was such a
Yeah.
great trip. You know, my dad passed away 2 years ago, and I often think about that trip and just how grateful I am that we got to spend those 4 days together, you know, and that trip was, it
Yeah.
was so cool, man. Like getting to start right on the Florida Georgia line and going all the way north. And, you know, that was my dad's first like true overland trip. Like we grew up off-roading and riding dirt
Yeah.
bikes and doing all the stuff, but like a multi-day, primarily off-road type of a thing, like that wasn't something we had done. And he just loved it. And my brothers enjoyed it. And it was just such a great trip. So yeah, I definitely have like a fond, really deep love for the Georgia Adventure Trail. So if you guys haven't run the Georgia Adventure Trail, you absolutely need to do it. In fact, over here in the over in the chat, the Adventure Crusader, my buddy Daryl, they've run the Georgia Adventure Trail, and they had a ton of fun on that route. It's a great route and totally worth running. So you and I also share a love for dual sports. You know, I grew up riding dirt bikes and dual sports, and you know, I don't have a big adventure bike currently, but I'm hoping to get one again soon and pump out some bigger, longer, you know, trips. But talk to me a little bit about like your motorcycle dual sport, you know,
So,
affinity, and then like the difference between your opinion on like the difference between that and like the Jeep or your Tahoe or, you know, something like that.
so funny thing, I started with a Hayabusa. Long story. If you don't know what a Hayabusa is, go Google that. And my idiot self bought one from a friend who, long story, it was good. Long story. And I ended
Yeah.
up with that as the first bike. I was like, this thing is crazy. I'm going to kill myself on this thing. But I had a blast. And I wanted something small to go pass my motorcycle test because I was like, I'm never going to pass it on this 10,000-pound bike. So I went and bought this Lifen 200cc POS
China bike.
dual sport. Yeah, it's a China
Yeah.
bike, but it only weighed like 175
Oh
pounds.
yeah.
And I was like, I'm
Yep.
going to pass the test on this. And so I took it and I did it. And so I was like, this thing's pretty fun. Let me go take it off somewhere. And dude, we two upped it. The Wiz and I, my girlfriend and I, we two upped that thing up Trey Mountain. Back when Trey Mountain, I don't know if you remember Chippy
Back,
Mountain, the
yeah, the
backside of the,
OG Trey Mountain.
we
Yeah.
would two up it. I mean, doing probably 2 miles an hour, but it didn't matter.
Sure.
We had a blast on that thing.
Dude, that's
And that really
awesome.
started my love for dirt roads, because that's really when I started doing dirt roads, was on that Lifen 200. Very quickly, I bought a CRF 250 just for that kind of thing, and then that was it. I got rid of the Busa, I got rid of all my other motorcycles, and it was all dirt roads from then on.
Dude, that's
And
awesome.
their funny story with that is that I created the Georgia Adventure Trail mainly on my motorcycle from north to about Macon. And south of Macon scared the pee out of me on the dual sport or adventure. But that
Oh yeah.
sand stuff was just not my. And I was born in Puerto Rico. I don't know if you knew that, anybody knew that, but I
Yeah.
was born in sand. I ain't taking no
Right.
motorcycle on no sand, man. I'm a chicken, I guess. I haven't learned how to ride it yet, so that's something I
Dude,
really
that's
want to try
so
to do, though. I really want to try to do that down there, but
yeah.
yeah. So the
That's
difference, though,
crazy.
we overland. I had a buddy of mine who's out actually living in Florida. He had the big GS, and I had my Honda NC, and we did the SM 500.
Yeah.
Took us
Great
4 days
route.
just because we took it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one is nice. And we took it and we camped in Tellico. We camped in Robbinsville off the bikes, and that's good stuff. But you start getting older, and the shoulders and the back don't like the floor anymore. So
Yeah. Heard
um,
that.
that's really where the Jeep came in. I still enjoy my bikes, but that's really where
Sure.
the Jeep came in, and so much easier. You put your kitchen back there. You start with plastic drawers and all that good old
Yep.
jazz, and
And then things
yeah,
get
and I just
crazier and crazier.
you don't have to be taking a helmet off or
Right.
jackets off, so yeah,
Yeah.
you become a wimp when you get older, but
Sure.
yeah,
Dude, that's
but yeah,
funny. The a shared another shared little spider web line, I guess. So my dad was a big racer, so he raced cars and motorcycles, road course stuff, and drag racing. And so way back in the day, he bought a brand new Hayabusa the first year they came out, which I think was 98 or 99 or something like that. And that bike was dumb fast, like off the rip. I mean, it was the fastest production bike in the world. And my dad, being the guy that he was like, you know what this thing needs? It needs a turbo kit.
oh
And
my
so
gosh,
he started a company called Bad Performance, which was Berkmeyer Automotive Design. And my last name, Berkmeyer Automotive Design. And his company made the first ever turbo kit for a Suzuki Hayabusa. And it was, stretched and, had an air shifter and the whole 9 yards. And I think his fastest ET on that bike was like a 7.4 in the quarter mile at like, 230 miles an hour or something like that. And it was crazy, dude. So yeah, that's so funny that your first bike was a Hayabusa. That's just ridiculous.
and
Yeah.
and I may or may not have the fastest speed that I've ever been on my life on a Hayabusa. Well, not counting an airplane. But that thing,
I
you could
believe that.
definitely do this, and 150 was there, and you're like,
oh
am
yeah,
I really what? Yeah,
so fast.
but
dude.
I may not have done that. Maybe not. Maybe so.
Yeah. It's okay. I don't think anybody's going to arrest you after the fact.
That was quite a few years ago.
The sugar sand stuff is different, right? Like you talk about riding on sugar sand
Yeah.
and stuff. It's actually one of the like kind of complaints that we get about the fat is oh man, sugar sand or whatever. I'm like, it's Florida #1 and #2.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if have you done the SCAR, the
Yes.
South Carolina adventure?
Not all of it. I haven't done all of it, but yeah.
Yeah. But like there's a ton of sugar sand on that. And that route is like a really popular adventure bike route. So, it just kind of is what it is. But, like I know a ton of really capable adventure motorcycle riders and dual sport riders. And they're like, dude, we love the fat. So, shout out.
Got a few. Go ahead.
There's a guy named Glenn who has run it, I think, a few times now. He's super cool dude. And, he's been awesome, but it's definitely hard, like especially on the bigger bikes. I get it. So, I'm actually working on updating the fat route to have like the really bad sugar sand parts in Ocala will have bypasses. So, but that's
I have
funny,
a guy
dude.
that Nathan is one of the guys that, like you mentioned, Glenn. Nathan's one of the guys that's I've never met him. I talked to him quite a bit. He was actually my first purchase of all my maps.
Nice.
And I'm sure he had them all. I know, but he's just that kind of guy.
That's cool.
And he rides a big old bike, fully loaded, and he loves. I mean, I don't know where he lives, somewhere in North Florida, South Georgia. But he loves it. And I'm like, dude, you're crazy.
That's awesome,
you're crazy, but that's cool. I mean, some people can do it. You gotta learn. You gotta practice it.
Yeah. We so talk to me. We'll shift gears a little bit since you brought it up. So you did make a big change in your model of doing business. If you will, tell us kind of what you were doing before and what you're doing now and how that's going.
So I don't like to go negative with it. It was really
you're not a negative guy, Tony. You're one of the most like kind, humble, positive guys I know. Yeah.
I'm glad you see that because I truly am not I don't like negativity. I try not to have it. We all get there, but you
Sure.
know, I really try to be positive and do things. But it was really a negative that finally sent me over the edge. Now you've been one of the biggest supporters and encouragers and everything, and I always want to say, not nice to be able to say thank you right now in
Oh
front of a
yeah.
bunch of people, man. You always were like, dude, you got to do this, you got to do that, and I'm like, ah, you know. And I had a few other buddies that were saying the same things you were, and I'm like, ah, maybe one day. And that, you know, the straw that broke the camel was just, you know, there's a lot of irresponsible and disrespectful people out there, and well, you know, that's life, that's people. But
Sure.
I finally realized that in order to protect myself and what we like to do and protect these routes, just it had to go that way.
Yeah.
And I was really scared of the support that I might or might not get. But man, people, the encouragement, not the buying of the routes, just the people saying it's about time, or dude,
Yeah.
yes, man, or this is awesome. And it's been really a positive experience. You know, yes, the business side of it has been really good. It's been way better than I thought. You told me, but I didn't believe you. I ain't gonna lie to you, but it's been awesome. But
Dude,
you know,
I
it's
felt like once, like every 4 months, I was like shooting you a message like, dude, you just gotta just
you
trust me,
got to.
man.
Yes.
Yeah,
And you were right. I knew you were right. I just and I'll go the last part of that. And I think you saw this on the video that I was talking about. You know, I'm a teacher. I don't want to take away from what I do right now. I'm close to
sure.
retirement, thank goodness. I didn't want to take a lot of time to start, you know, feeling like, oh, I've got to make these better, or I have to go do something because I'm getting paid for it. So I have to do more and more and more and more.
Yeah,
But I think the time was perfect right now to do it. And like I said, your encouragement always has been top notch. Your vision always of what it can be and everything else. We match. It's just you go
yeah.
for it. And I'm kind of like, I gotta wait till I retire.
Sure, sure.
But it's been good. I mean,
Good, man.
it's been
Yeah.
good. Been
It's
good.
I was, like, super pumped when you did it because, for those of you that are watching and you're not super familiar with Tony had Tony, do you have 18 routes now on your website?
I went down to what am I at? 14, 15.
14, okay, so 4
Someone acquired one of mine, which we'll get to in a
Oh,
minute.
yeah,
But
I'm sure we'll talk about that in a
I
minute, yeah.
again, because I was now selling them, I wanted them to be better. I wanted
Yeah,
them to be worth somebody paying the money that I'm asking for them.
yeah,
And so I actually took down two that I felt
okay,
weren't up to par. They'll come back. I've been working on them. They'll come back.
cool.
But yeah, I have 15, 14 right now,
It's crazy.
and there should be 17. Yeah, that's right. And then the fat would have been
The fact,
18.
yeah,
So yeah, but I took a couple off just to make them even better.
that's
But
cool.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome, man.
And I'm also starting like again, and I've had all these routes, and my buddies are like, just put them up there because I have so many routes that are just not necessarily dirt roads, but they're covered bridges.
Yeah.
Lighthouses. This one I might have to go send it to you. Lighthouses of Florida. I have this
Oh,
whole
that's cool.
QPX files with all of them and all this stuff. And again, I love maps. So anytime the Wiz and I or me was going somewhere, I'm like, I'm creating a little route, you know, for it. And so
Yeah.
I have tons of those, and that's all I'm gonna just start putting all that stuff up there,
Dude,
you
that's
know, for
awesome.
people just to enjoy. So
That's so
yeah,
cool. Yeah, you're a machine. I get that. Like I empathize with you. Like with me being a pastor, like most people think pastors just work on Sundays. I had somebody ask
only
me one time,
Wednesday.
they're like, "Oh man, must be nice to work on Sundays." And I'm like, dude, I
You
work 60, 70 hours a week. You have no
you
idea.
got summers off. You got the
Yeah, I'm
breaks
like,
off. Why are you
same thing
complaining?
with
I'm not
teachers. Yeah.
complaining.
Yeah,
Gotta
and
work and
honestly,
grind.
in the same way, like as a teacher, like as a pastor, like we don't make very much money, man. And so, you know what I mean? And so for me, like and this is just like the real honest truth is like when I created the fat at first, I was like, well, I'm just going to like post it and see if people like it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait a minute, I've put so much time and energy into this. Like I've spent
Yes.
more hours and fuel. And so then once it turned into a thing that has actually now become a business and has turned into something that is like helping me pay off help my wife pay off student debt. Like my wife
Yeah.
is my wife's a mental health therapist. She's got student debt. Like master's degrees aren't cheap. And so
Yep.
you get it. And so it's just
Yeah.
some of
Yeah.
those things where it's like, I've had a few people over the years in my Facebook group be like, I'm not paying $20 for this route or
Yeah.
whatever. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, man. Like,
It's not for you. It's not for
it's
you.
not for you, and that's
Yeah.
okay. But
Yeah.
it has been a huge blessing to me and my family. And even just people buying stickers and shirts and,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all of that stuff is just like any other small business. It's making an impact in my world. And, through some of the stuff that we're able to do with um, the fat friends and doing trail cleanups and, some of the stuff that we're doing now with the fat, I was donating a percentage of sales to the Wounded Warrior Project, and I'm kind of pausing some of that right now. I'm moving away actually from not working with, but donating to the Wounded Warrior Project, and I'm hoping to start working with. This is not official yet, but working with a veterans overland group that
You were
does
telling me
mental
about
health
that.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's some cool stuff with that, man. So there's
Yeah.
a cool opportunity to give back, and so yeah, dude, I'm pumped. So if you guys haven't been to Tony's website, you should head over there, and you shouldn't just pick a couple of them. You should just buy the bundle, buy the Fundle bundle, get the whole
Fundle. I
thing.
didn't. Oh, I'm changing the name of it. Fundle bundle.
I think that's a Michael Scott line from The Office. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's Fundle Bundle. But yeah,
It sounds too familiar. Yes.
I think so. You got to go get you the Fundle Bundle and check out all of the stuff that Tony's got going on. So Tony, what is your website? Tell us what it is.
Vman1313 ADV.
There you go. Vman1313 ADV. And you have a YouTube channel, which everybody should subscribe to as well.
Yeah, if you don't mind. That's also Vman. That's actually Vman1313 Adventures.
Oh, there we go.
And back to the Fundle Bundle.
Yeah.
It's $125, but I'm doing that one lifetime. So you pay that $125, you're going to get every route that I keep creating, all updates, all that stuff. It'll, if I put out all these themes, which I am, the themes and the cover, you'll get everything that goes on my website. It's going on there. It's yours.
Sweet.
That's going to come to you. That one's not going to last much longer. I think I'm going to keep it running to probably about save another discussion we'll have later, but
yeah.
Probably till around right after save, because that's gonna go up a little bit or something. But it's
a great deal. Now's the time to get it, folks. Support Tony. Tony's totally worth supporting. All right, let's talk about of all of your routes, what are some of your favorites?
Oh man, that's a hard question. I mean, I'll go with the Georgia Adventure Trail just because it was that first one, and your memories that you have with your dad. I have memories of it because I've ran it so many times. Not the whole entire thing, but just being the first one that got me going and inspiring me to do that. That's definitely my favorite. The hardest. This is what I always get, because a lot of people. My routes were never intended to be technical or difficult. Now they can be. The Macon, when you get into Macon
I know.
That Georgia Adventure Trail, and if he even sprinkled 6 months ago,
dude,
you're gonna have a hard time.
It turns into like a total oil slick. Yeah,
it's rhino peanut butter snot. It is
that's a much better way to describe
that's what we call it around here. So yeah, that one, it has its teeth, but I never meant for them to be technical or difficult. The Bama Adventure Trail is very similar to the Georgia Adventure Trail in that sense, where it has its spots that will test you really good. But my favorite has to be the Georgia Adventure Trail. The most beautiful one has to be my Piedmont Adventure Loop. Down in the middle. Oh, that Piedmont,
that one.
The wildlife management area down there, that wildlife refuge down there, it is gorgeous, and that's just one of those beautiful ones. And then this last one that I just put out, I had no clue what that thing was going to do to me, which is the Sorry, I always say it backwards. The Alabama Adventure Route. Which it starts 10 miles from the Atlanta airport. 10 miles from the airport. You're 15 miles from downtown Atlanta, and you start on dirt roads that are just
wild.
And then they get crazier and crazier. And as you get into Alabama and start heading back towards Georgia, Dude, that's the first one that I will say you have to have high clearance. You have to have 4 low.
Nice.
You're not going through there with anything else on that when you're heading back into Georgia. So,
Oh yeah,
um,
I know some of the roads that are over there, and there's some good stuff in there. Yeah.
there's some mean stuff in there.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So, yeah.
Dude, that's
But
cool,
yeah,
man. I definitely want to check that out and run that. Maybe we'll have to do like team up and run that together at some point.
yeah,
That'd be cool.
that'd
Well,
be cool.
speaking of teaming up,
Yeah.
let's talk about the Panhandle Adventure Trail. So, for those
Trail.
of you that don't know, um, Tony is the creator of the Panhandle Adventure Trail, the PHAT, which also known as the fat. So, we've got the fat, and the
Yeah.
so fat.
So
Yeah.
fat.
Yeah. And the so fat. So,
That's
so tell us a little bit about tell us from your perspective about the Panhandle Adventure Trail, creating it, running it, some of your favorite sections of it. Just kind of give us the real Tony Vman1313 experience of the fat.
so that Panhandle Adventure Trail was a route that I had found. Not it. I had found this route down in the Panhandle, and I went to run it, and every road was closed. I mean, it was closed, every single thing. So I kept having to go around and around and around. But of course, as we do, we mark, oh, that's a nice road, and I'll mark it. And another gate, another private property, another this, another that, and I would mark it. And that, okay, this route is worthless, really. No offense to whoever had made it. It was probably just made a long time ago, and
Sure.
things happen.
Yep.
Places change. And so I started, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to create my own. I want to go all the way across the Panhandle. And so that's what started. And so I was like, okay, Jacksonville, got to start at the beach. Got to hit, what's the Osceola? It's up there.
Osceola. Yep.
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 And then I just, WMA tell me, Osceola is one of my favorite, even though it's the most boring place. It's gorgeous to me. The
Oh,
little
yeah.
water crossings that are just that
Oh,
black
yeah.
water stuff. I love Osceola. And then
Yep.
that took me down into what's down there past Tallahassee?
Apalachicola.
Apalachicola.
Yep.
We get into Tate's Hell, one of my favorite. That has to be my favorite place in Florida so far right now. I've probably camped in Tate's Hell more than I've camped in Georgia, I swear. Every
Yeah.
winter, my buddy and I would go down there and let's go. And so love it down there. And then,
Yeah, Tate's Hell is super cool.
Yeah. And so then the national forest that's there, Ecofina. And so it was just WMA to WMA, and I just kept on going. And that's how it became. It's funny because I never truly ran it complete. That's one of the few trails that I never ran complete. Every time I went with buddies who couldn't take off enough time to do the whole
Enough time
thing.
to get across, yeah.
So we would hit the highlights, and then I would kind of coax them, the next time we went over this way a little, just so I could keep on trying to run the whole thing out. And so, and that's how really that became, just piece by piece, just trying to get it going.
Awesome. Yeah. When I was, when I was building out the fat route, one of the goals that I had was I was like, well, Tony's got the Panhandle Adventure Trail. He's got, at the time, you didn't have the Bama Adventure Trail, but now you've got the Bama Adventure Trail. When I first started that years ago, and then the Georgia Adventure Trail, and then the Traverse, right? And so I was like, well, shoot, if I can just make the main fat route, an A to B route, people, if they wanted to make that one contiguous route, they just connect into your Panhandle route. And so, there was a few folks that had done that. There was a couple people that, said, oh, we live up in North Carolina, so we're going to run like the Georgia Adventure Trail down and then connect into the fat, and then we'll, highway it home. And so there was a lot of like crossover between the fat, the PHAT fat, and, even the Bama Adventure Trail, all of that. And so, like one of my good friends, Matt with Rome 4 Matt and Kaylee, who, they've run.
They were the first ones that ran that
Adventure
Trail, I believe, and the Bama Adventure Trail. Yeah.
Yep. So they were early adopters of some of that. They're big Vman1313 fans, and so
Yes.
they in fact they run. I don't know if you've seen this. They have a guided trip that they do now on the Bama Adventure Trail.
He writes me every time. He's like,
That's
dude, we're doing
cool.
it again. Is that cool? I'm like, dude, yes, please go
Do it as
enjoy it,
many
man.
times as you want. Yeah,
Yes,
Matt,
yes,
Matt and Kaylee are good people, man. I love them. They've
yes.
been great friends to me, and I don't know if you know this. They own a off road shop now. They've got. I mean, they're building crazy stuff out of that
They
shop, from like
they are
putting lights on
20
stuff to
miles.
building crazy stuff.
Yeah, they're about 20
How
miles
far are
up
they
the
from
road
you?
from me. Yeah, 20 miles up the road from me.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez, so
Yeah.
you're real close, man. I didn't
Yeah,
realize you
they're
were that
right up
close
the
to them.
road. Yes.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, Matt and Kaylee are great. They do great stuff. In fact, at some point, I'm going to bring my Xterra up there, and they're going to fab some stuff, I think, for me that I've been wanting to build. So
I want to run a route with them. Like I want to
oh yeah,
go out
we'll
with
have to
them and
all
ride.
link up at some point and do
Yeah,
something together. It'll be cool.
that'd be cool. That'd
So
be cool. But let me
yeah,
go back to something about you were talking about the
yeah,
linking the routes
yeah,
together. Because that's what started happening with me when I started creating mine. I was like, wait a
right,
minute. The traverses, and people always ask me, how come you didn't build anything up north? I was like, you don't need anything up north. The traverse is truly the best route in
it
Georgia.
is. Yeah,
I'll admit it. Nobody really should deny it. I mean, it is what it is. So I thought, man, Georgia Adventure Trail down, Bama Adventure Trail up. Now I have the two tops, Panhandle across. And so that was really what I wanted to try to kind of do. And then as I built the belt, if you only have a day or two, you can go run this one. If you have 6
right.
days, you can run the whole this and that. So yeah,
Yep.
that was kind of where it started going. Was let's see how big of loops you can create. If you live in Savannah, jump on the belt, go up the adventure
Yep.
trail, go back on this one, and so yeah, that's kind of what led me to do all those things, and what got us talking about the fat going with the fat and the so fat, because
Right.
I just thought, you know what, this fits your stuff perfectly,
Mm-hmm.
because I love
Yeah.
what you're doing in Florida. I
Thanks,
love
man.
I love what you're doing, because it's what I'm doing. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I love what you're doing. And when we started talking about you maybe acquiring, I was like, I told you first time you even
Yeah.
mentioned
You're
it.
like,
I was
done
like,
deal. I was like,
it's
oh,
yours. It's yours. We'll figure out the logistics later, but it's
yeah.
yours, bro. Because I mean,
Yeah.
first of all, the
But
encouragement you've always given me, all the, everything you've always supported and everything, dude. Yeah, you're making something awesome, and that's what we're about. Yes,
yeah.
the money is nice, like you were saying. The money's sweet to make me. It encourages me to keep doing more stuff.
Yeah.
It helps me buy a camera so I can do those things. It helps me pay
Right.
for Gaia so I could actually go do those things.
Right.
And so, it was never about the money. It was about the adventure,
No.
the
Yeah.
hobby. So the money does help everything, but if I can get you to create what you're doing, help you creating what you're doing, oh
Right.
man, that's awesome.
Yep.
So yeah, that was a no-brainer to me. Like I said, that first time, you remember the first time you even said it, I was like, yours, done.
It's
We'll
funny
figure
you
out
mentioned
later the
that.
logistics.
I was like sitting at our dinner table at our house, which is like my mini office, I'm sure maybe you're like that. I've always got crap everywhere, and
You
I was
see
telling
my
my wife,
office. Yeah.
yeah. I was telling my wife, Ashley, I was like, okay, I think I'm going to bring the topic up to Tony about acquiring the Panhandle route. And she was like, I think she said, like, why are you being weird? Like, why are you being nervous about this? I was like, I don't know.
Giving
Like,
away a baby. It's like giving my
yeah, I
baby
know. I
away.
know. She was just saying, she was like, Tony's your friend. Like, if he doesn't want to sell it to you, that's okay. Like, if he doesn't want to do that, it's totally fine. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So I just shot you a thing, and then you were like, it's yours. And I was like, okay. So yeah, man,
I
that's
didn't
been
even
super cool.
hesitate. It makes
Yeah.
so much sense to be what you're doing and the things that
Yeah.
you're trying to accomplish. It just made sense. And I knew we
Yeah.
would come up with a mutual agreement somehow, some
Oh
way
yeah.
that would benefit both of us. And I feel like it has.
Yeah.
It has
Yeah,
benefited
for
both of us.
sure.
And yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah.
the next thing that I need to do with the Panhandle route is I need to, and the cool part about with my website, the way that it's set up and the third party digital asset delivery system that I have, I can, anytime that it gets updated, I can upload it into my website, and it immediately emails out the update the updated file, it notifies anybody that's bought it, it notifies them and it sends them the update, which is super cool. So
That's cool.
the
That's
next
cool.
thing I'm working on with the Panhandle route is adding campsites and points of interest, and getting kind of more of some of the historic stuff that I like to do and some of those things through there. And
Which
so
it
I'm
was
really
stuff
excited about that.
that I could not add because I'm so far away. And I knew,
Totally.
again, it's my little baby, but I knew you could take care of it and would
Yeah.
take care of it and wouldn't
Yep.
just, oh, it's just the name I want. No, you're going to make it better. So
Right.
like I said, I didn't hesitate. I knew it was going to go to a good place. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, that's cool. That's awesome.
Well, yeah. So that's thing number one. And then thing number two is I want to go out and run it and film it and put out a new video, on
Yeah.
it. That's like from me. And,
Yes.
so me, and I'm sure Brad with the Overlander Ruse, and Asia with Baptism Overland, and Danon and Daryl. And we'd love to have you too, man. If you want to
I'd
come
come
run it
down
with
if you,
us,
yeah.
dude,
Even
that'd
if
be
I ran
super
it the first
fun.
part,
That'd
just
be,
to send you off.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's just go
That'd
do
be
it. It'd
cool.
be super fun to go run that together as a group and put out a really great, really great video on it. So I think that's going to move the needle. It's funny, like my buddy Sean, who lives in Georgia, who ran the Georgia Adventure Trail with me in his Highlander at the time. He's got a Sequoia now, but he had a Highlander at the time. Talk about an upgrade on off-road capability,
Yeah.
payload, just a
Yeah.
little bit. But dude, I know that you've seen that video that my brother made. It was the first video I ever posted, was when we ran the Georgia Adventure Trail. Terrible video. We had no idea what we were
Yeah,
doing.
yeah.
Jeremy did his best, but bro,
I like those videos.
yes,
I love y'all's awesome videos, but I
sure.
love those chump videos. No
Yes.
offense. I love those because
Listen, I
you
get
see
it.
the enjoyment. You
Of
see the
course.
fun that you're having. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Totally.
Anyway, go ahead.
That's one of the things I try to encapsulate in all of my videos, is like the goofiness and the, like the inside jokes and making fun of each other. And,
The
like in our
realness.
the real part of adventure, like in our
Yes, yeah.
Waypoint Unknown film. There's so many moments where, like, Brad from Overlander Ruse, at some point on the radio, he became Bread. And I don't know how that happened, but it just did. And then it was just all over. And then Zach from Sunshine State Vikings is like cleaning my knees out of nowhere. And like, there's just goofy stuff like that just happens on trips like this. And that's what makes it's a small part in every trip, the like goofing with each other. But at the same time, it's like the greatest part of adventure travel with friends is the inside jokes and the
overlanding that people don't get. That there's
overlanding
so
experience.
many pieces to what that is, that
Sure.
people don't get. That is part of it. That is part
It
of that
is.
hobby. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, dude, I'm excited about the pan. Oh, so my buddy Sean, the Georgia guy,
Yeah.
I did an ADHD rabbit trail.
That's me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, me too. So, but he, when I posted the Panhandle route, he's like, dude, I didn't even know, like, you did not do a good job of advertising the Panhandle route. He's like, I didn't even know that you had this. And I was like, crap, I suck. So I was like, I need to do, because honestly, I think I've only had like maybe 10 or 15 downloads so far of the Panhandle Adventure Trail route. But I'm like, that's on me. I haven't promoted it well, and I need to make a video about it, because once people get out there and they experience it, it's going to be like just pumping. So I'm really excited about that. And I definitely want to make sure that we figure out how you can come with us on that one, which will be
tell me when, man. Even if I could only come for a little bit, I'm coming. I'll be there for a little bit.
That'd be awesome. Which kind of leads me to another topic. So you're kind of unique in this way. You do a ton of trips by yourself. Which
I'm an only child, man. That's the problem. I'm an only child. Other people bother me. I'm the most extroverted introvert you will ever meet. Man. I get mad at myself, and it's cool, I don't. It's all right.
Yeah. Look, I don't need anybody else getting mad at me.
Yeah. I mean, and I make myself laugh. I love myself. I hate myself. It's all there. It's getting to a point where I realize a lot of times I get into places where it's not safe. And I wouldn't say safe in a safe. It's not as you know, I got stuck. The Alabama Adventure Trail. I got stuck in the dumbest mud hole, which I checked it. I mean, you can watch the video. I checked
Yeah.
it. But then I was like, dude, this is where being by yourself sucks, man.
Yeah.
It's like, got to find, and the trees were all about an inch wide or,
Yeah.
round. And it's like, what am I going to do here? But
Yeah.
yeah, I've very much run a lot of I mean,
Yeah.
95% of the time I do run my routes by myself, or at my overlanding adventures that I
Yeah.
do are by
Or you
myself.
take the whiz with you. You take the whiz along, you know.
I usually get out when we do what we call the two bird, one stone. She's got her mom and her sister that they do a lot of good stuff with. And
Right.
so the moment she's gone, I'm
Yep.
gone,
You're
and so
gone. Yeah, yeah.
we do our thing. But I've
That's
had some
pretty
good
awesome.
adventures with other people. I mean, like
Sure.
I said, my
Yeah.
buddy, for me, and I was talking to the Wiz about this, for me, I've enjoyed a few big groups that I've been on.
Yeah.
But again, being the introvert that I am, usually with one or two people, one or two rigs, three rigs, that's where for me I get more of that, goofing off and having
Yeah,
fun.
for
You get to
sure.
know the people a little more than when you have the bigger groups and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I pretty much am a loner. Not if you see me out there, hey, I'll enjoy talking to you.
Oh,
I'll talk
yeah.
your ear off,
Yeah.
but yeah.
No, I actually think it's really cool, because, one of the things that, and I've shared this with you before, one of the reasons why I, created the Florida Adventure Trail, and it's my tagline for the business, right? Helping you find adventure in your own backyard.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
just think like, and it's really kind of connected to my like ethos in life, which is way too many people are too busy to live, so get busy living. And so,
Yes.
that whole idea for me, and I saw it show up in so many Facebook groups that I was in for off-roading, overlanding, adventure travel, whatever you want to call it. And I would see these guys, these men and women that would post like, "Oh, I can't in 3 years, I can't wait to finish my build so I can go to Moab and do whatever." Or, "Oh, I," or like I'd see people comment on like somebody's picture of them out with friends, and they'd be like, "Man, I wish I could do that, but I don't know anybody that does this too."
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm a big guy, but I'm a big teddy bear. I got a big soft heart, so I'm like, oh, these poor people that like and I'm like, I think you're missing the point. And that's what's been so cool about the Florida Adventure Trail Facebook group is so many people have made connections with one another, and I want to find more ways to do that. That's why I want to start doing these quarterly fat camp events where,
Yeah.
I'm going to cap it at a certain amount of people. But the whole goal of that is like, I believe if I can just get people to come to a thing and meet each other, that maybe
Go.
just maybe a couple of those groups they'll go, "Hey, what if we went and ran the Bama Adventure Trail together?" And I'm like,
Right.
"Okay, if I can set up the first date, I think people can take
Yeah.
it from there,
They'll get married forever. Yep. Definitely.
100%. In
Yeah. Yeah.
fact, Daryl from the Adventure Crusader website, a YouTube channel, you met him at the Save Expo last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Him and a couple other guys and a couple of my other friends, I did my little route that I call the Alabama Rubicon, that little 2-day trip that I
Yeah.
have. I set up this trip with them, and most of them had never met each other. Like half of them did, but half of them didn't. This whole thing, and now they have their own group me chat. They plan trips together all the time, and
Nice.
it's turned into this whole thing. And at one point, I don't remember how this whole thing started, but they have turned into the Sasquatch Research Group.
Oh, they
And
stole mine. Yeah. That was my
yeah,
buddy and I. We were the Sasquatch hunters, man.
oh really? That's
Yeah, on our on
hilarious.
our on our adventure bikes. That's what we called each other. Oh, yeah. We were
Yeah.
just the two of us, but yeah.
So they made these giant magnets and logos, and they stick them on their rigs when they go on trips together.
We had
And
ours too. That's
did you
funny.
really? That's funny.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
bro, they say that pretty much anytime that they're on a trip, somebody will pull up at the gas station and be like, "I knew they were around here." Like and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're with Nat Geo. We're out here, looking
Nice.
for like it's so
Yeah,
fun."
nice.
So that's super cool, man. Yeah, I
But
think
those connections make a big deal. I mean,
they
and that's
do. They do.
that goes to me too. A lot of times people are like, "Oh, you're just such a show off or an elitist," or I'm like, "No, man. I want to inspire you to get your butt outside and go
Same.
enjoy life
100%.
before it's too late."
Yep.
And so talking about mottos, mine was always explore,
Yeah.
discover, conquer it. Go
Yep.
out there and do your thing, man.
Yep. Yep.
Don't wait for other people. If you don't want to be, put yourself in real bad situations, I've got routes that are just easy as pie, and
Right.
you can get out there and just enjoy it and beautiful
100%.
stuff. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I hear you about that.
Yeah.
We have a lot of
Yep.
similarities. We always talked about it. But yeah,
100%. And for
yeah,
me, like that's one of the things that I love about a lot of your routes, and it's what I love about the SoFat, and even the Panhandle Trail. It's like you don't need to spend 50 grand on your Tacoma to go do it. It's like go to Walmart, spend $100 on a tent, Coleman, whatever, Coleman stove, whatever you
yep.
need, or pack a
It'll
lunch or whatever. Just
folding
go.
toilet, folding toilet.
Yes.
That's important, and that's
Oh
that.
no, man.
Or a shovel, man.
Hug a tree, drop a deuce, you'll be fine. But, I'm just like, get out there, go experience adventure because it's out there. And I don't know, man. Like, I just without getting too dark on it, like one of my really good friends passed away in a car accident a couple weeks ago, and it was awful. And I'm like, I just am reminded again and again that tomorrow is not promised. And so let's go experience stuff. Like stop chasing this like pie in the sky overland adventure,
Yep.
X
Yep.
overland style trip.
Yeah.
Like those things are great, and maybe you'll do that eventually.
You
But
get
what
there.
if
Yeah,
you
you'll
just
get there if you
loaded up
want.
the
If that's
kids
what
on
you
a
want, you'll
weekend,
get there.
and
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
found a trail? So yeah, I just hope more and more people do that. Yeah,
I agree with
just like
that. Yep.
Chris said here in the comments, he said, "Hop in the F-150 and ride out." That's
Yep.
right. Just
Yep.
get
Yep.
out
Yep.
there.
Yep.
In fact, Chris is a Georgia guy. He came on that Georgia Adventure Trail with me. He's got little boys. Well, they're not little anymore; they're growing up. But I'm like, Chris, get out there and run a bunch of V-Man's routes. There's a bunch of loops all around you. You got to get out there and do it. So
Yeah.
so let's talk about Save Expo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You're a
what are
bad
we
good
thinking?
influence, man. You're a bad good influence.
Is it
Yeah,
going
I'm
to
going, man.
happen, or are
I'm
we
going.
making an
I'm going.
announcement?
Dude, I ordered stickers, I ordered banners, as you can see back there. I actually
Let's
ordered shirts.
go.
I don't want to say about the shirts because I want to see what they look like before I start trying to sell them. But if they look like crap, I'll sell them for $5. But anyway,
Dude, that's
yeah,
okay. So you're in. You're coming to
I'm
Save
in. I'm
Expo.
in. I'm in.
Dude, that's awesome,
I had to
man.
ask my boss first, but that's
That
a
makes
different.
sense. I think that's
That was.
a wise choice,
I still
Dude,
got to
that's
work.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'll be there, man. I'll be
Dude,
there.
that's awesome. I'm really excited about that. Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, the Save Expo is Florida's premier adventure vehicle expo. It's in Stark, Florida, Keystone Heights, Stark area, out at Florida International Rally and Motorsports Park, where I used to be a driving instructor. I miss those days. That was fun, getting to drive race cars and stuff. But nonetheless, Tony's going to have a booth this year, which is going to be sick. And
Blame him. Blame him.
yeah, it's going to be awesome, dude. It's going to be so
Yeah.
good for you and so good for all of your fans. Like there's so many people that are just diehard Tony fans that are going to get to meet you and support you and get stickers and shirts and hear more about your routes and all of that stuff. So I'm really excited about that.
I came last year,
Yeah.
which is when we first met finally,
Yeah.
in
Finally in
person.
person. Yeah.
And I just hung out with you guys and people are like, "Hey, aren't you V-Man?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, what's up?" And so it was kind of good. It was pretty cool. Again, I'm an introvert. I want to be in the woods hiding somewhere, in my
Yeah.
my Tahoe, my Jeep. So,
Yeah.
but it was really cool and a lot of positive stuff that came out
Yeah,
of it.
man.
So yeah, man, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it.
Excited.
I'm also, quite extroverted, but I'm like so protective of my time and so protective of like, I've got this much time to, this much time off. And
Yeah.
so, and honestly, like the expo thing is not my jam. Like,
Not
it is
mine at
not my
all.
thing at all. I would way rather be camping in the woods or doing whatever. But I will say that of all the expos that I've been to, I love the Save Expo because it's big, but it doesn't feel big.
Yeah,
It feels small. It feels like kind of close knit. And so I'm really, really, really excited about that. Alyssa and her team put on an incredible expo. So I'm super pumped that you're
and
coming,
that
dude.
venue is perfect
Oh
for it.
yeah, the venue's
That
perfect.
venue is perfect
Yep.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So once you sign up, I'll tell Alyssa to make sure that our booths are close so we can wave at each other.
Oh, perfect. I got somebody to talk to.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah. It'll be good. All right. Well, I'm going to pivot us really quick. And while we've got some people on here. All right. So Mary Winch Miss, that was our big giveaway, everybody, which if, for those of you joining us, if you remember, you spent $1 on the website and that got you one entry into our Mary Winch Miss giveaway. We did this last year and I gave away a winch. And or I think I did like $450 or something like that. The person that won, they already had a winch, so I just sent them the doll hairs, and that was great for them. And then we did, and then I gave away basically like a free trail ride. Like I was like, hey, we'll go load up your friends, we'll go do the thing, it'll be awesome. And they never took me up on it. So this year I'm like, okay, whoever wins this, I hope that they'll take me up on it. Yeah. I was like, I'll take you. We were going to go do like the Alabama Rubicon and part of the bat and like loop it around and stuff, but they never took me up on it. So, yeah, those of you that spent money on the website, thanks so much for doing that. I really invested in getting all the new, like my new way of doing t-shirts and hoodies and all of that. And so, the fact that people have started buying stuff has been really great. So, okay. Give me 5 seconds, guys. Tony, I just saw that you said, what's up, everybody, in our private chat.
I know. I'm trying to get in there. I'm trying to get this. Is
click on the right-hand side where there's like, it says brand, folder, design, caption, QR codes, music, and then there's chat, and that'll open up the chat for you. And then you can select your YouTube channel to comment as, or at least you should be able to, hopefully.
Don't see it, but I'm working on it.
All right.
You do your thing, man. You do your
all
thing.
Right. So I'm going to go over to our randomizer and make sure that that works. Maybe you're not allowed to comment. I don't know. I'm still learning this new thing, Tony. So
this is my first one, man. This is cool.
Okay. So, all right. All right. It takes like 5 seconds to do its thing. This is for a free winch or $500 cash and a guided trip with me on a route, one of the routes that I've done that people would enjoy. So hopefully, let's see. Okay. So order number 1439, and that is, let's see, 1439. Matt Willett from Cape Coral, Florida. Look at that. Matt Willett from Cape Coral, Florida. Yay, Matt. Okay. I will, I doubt that he's, I'm not sure who Matt is, but I'm excited that he's excited. I'm sure once he knows that he won. So Matt, if you're watching, congratulations. You are the winner of our Mary Winch Miss giveaway. If he's not watching, I will email him after the live stream and post in the Facebook group. So Matt Willett is our winner. That's pretty cool. Right on. All right. Hey, I figured out what's up, everybody. There you go. Let's go. You did the thing. Yay. All right. All right. So another thing I wanted to pick your brain on, Tony, as we kind of wrap up a little bit here. You're the expert, bro. I've learned so much from you over the years. Tell us a little bit about kind of like your process. I know you're a map nerd. But how are you, like, what is your process for building these routes?
I was the nerd that took geography as a daggum specials, man, like a extracurricular thing. I was like, that was the
Yeah.
weirdo I was. But um, yeah, I always suggest to people find where you want to start with. So like a WMA, a
Yeah.
forest, anything. Maybe you live down the road from a bunch of dirt roads that you're just used to riding. That's where I start with most anything. The Georgia Adventure Trail started with Charlie's Creek and Tallulah
Yep.
River Road. I mean, and it just kept coming down. How far can I go on dirt? And so that's how I really start with an area or a specific roads, group of roads. And then it's Google Maps, Street View, and Satellite View, and Google Earth. But I
Yep.
also get to my nerdy side. I get into DOT maps. You can download a lot of DOT maps.
I
Um,
know. I just learned about that recently. I didn't even
yeah,
know that was
remember
a
that.
thing until just recently.
Yes, I mean, that one really is where I started most of the stuff because you can find them. And
Interesting.
then some states like North Carolina actually have dirt road. The DOT will let you break it down from dirt roads to
Yep.
paved roads and all that stuff. So, yeah, that's where I really start and start going from there. It's become a weird thing that I kind of almost start like, I mean, I guess I've been doing it long enough and seen them long enough that I'm like, okay, that might be a dirt road. Let me mark
Yeah.
that. That might be and I go through there and I'll Google Earth it or whatever. And then, but the bottom line is you're going to have to get out there and
Yeah.
finally write them out.
You
You're
gotta
going to have to finally
finalize it
write
at
them out.
least.
But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I really do start with Google Maps.
Yep.
That's really most of my routes go on Google Maps. Now, I do create my routes up to now. I started on Google Maps creating routes. Ooh, that's hard.
Yeah, it
Um,
is.
but Gaia Desktop was always what I used to create them. It
Mhm.
snaps the little roads around and all that stuff. And me and you had the discussion of Gaia likes to do things you don't want it to do sometimes. And a lot of times we'll put out a route. I've put out a route and somebody be like, dude, that road was closed 12 years ago. And I was like,
Yep.
there's no way I did that. And
Yeah.
sure enough, my route is going through there. And I'm like, how to do that? Well, sometimes it'll snap out to where it
It'll
wants to.
snap a
Yeah.
thing. Yep.
You'll hit save and it snaps out to somewhere else, even though you
Yeah.
didn't tell it to.
Yep.
But I do still create in Gaia. It's still the easiest to create in desktop. I don't use Gaia that much. The only reason I use every single app is because you guys ask about 1,000. The people that are buying these apps, they ask you a million questions.
Oh,
So
yeah.
right now I'm learning Garmin Basecamp because that's
Yeah.
the new thing that I don't know anything about. And
Yep.
so I started learning that. But I'm actually creating a series now on my YouTube channel called the GPX Battle Royale. And I'm
Oh,
pitting Onyx against Gaia, against Google Maps,
nice.
against Osman, GPX Viewer Pro. And spoiler alert, it's what you enjoy and use. But I
Yeah.
will say this: my opinion is you have to have two apps. Two.
Mhm.
You got to have either Gaia or Onyx. In my opinion, those two are very similar in a lot of the things that they work in. And then I always suggest you got to have either Osman or GPX Viewer Pro. And the reason for that is Gaia and Onyx work so similar where if you're going somewhere that you don't know if there's cell service, you have to download the little areas.
Mhm.
You have to manipulate it before you go out there.
Sure.
Osman is my go-to app, and they don't sponsor me or anything, but I've used it forever. They should, because I talk them up all the time.
I know you do. Yeah.
Osman, you install the app, you install the state, Georgia, Florida, whatever. They give you, I think, 5 states free, true free. It's not a gimme. It's free.
Wow.
5 states. You download the state, and that's that. You're done. You can
Wow.
go anywhere without having to download areas and download this. And you can do that with Gaia and Onyx. You just have to kind of manipulate it. And you better
Sure.
have a lot of storage on your
Yeah.
device for that. But
Yeah.
GPX Viewer Pro is the same way. But I say always run Osman, even if you use it as your backup because you love Gaia or Onyx. But yeah,
Mhm.
those to me are the apps, Onyx or Gaia, and then Osman. Um, and it's what I do. I mean, people are like,
Yeah.
oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about, dude. I've been doing this a long time. I've found roads on Osman that weren't on Gaia. I found roads on Gaia that weren't on Osman. Very few. I'm talking about a handful in all
Yeah.
the years I've been doing this. So yeah, a lot of people get out there, and Gaia's been having the glitches a lot lately, which really sucks. Because
Yeah.
it was a pretty, I mean, it was never user friendly in my opinion,
Yeah.
but it was a very powerful.
It was a
Is.
powerful tool for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
The logging out is what kills people nowadays. If I don't know
I
if you've
know.
noticed that. Yeah.
Yep.
People will be out there and all of a sudden it wants you to log in. Well, you have no cell service. You're done.
Yep.
That guy
You're
is a
done.
piece of paperweight that you're not going to
Yep.
be using anymore. So
I know.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I'm really like in a place where, so I started actually my first, like experience with with like a GPS mapping anything was Motion X,
oh
which
my
was
gosh, yes.
back in the day, Motion
Yeah.
X, which was fine, but that was how I actually the first routes that I ever mapped, which would have been like 2010, and that would have been Ocala National Forest stuff was on Motion X on my iPad.
That's
And
crazy.
then
That's crazy.
yeah, and then from there, I mean, I used Motion X probably until 2016, I would say.
Wow. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I found out about Gaia and I started using Gaia. And honestly, Gaia worked, especially on the desktop part. Like I mapped all of the fat with Gaia. And that worked fine, but I mean, you and I have talked about this, and I don't mean to whatever, but like I'm kind of fed up with Gaia. Like the logging out thing is super frustrating. It happened to me when we were in North Carolina, and it just logged me out. And we're in the middle of nowhere, North Carolina. I have no idea where we are. I've got 7 rigs behind me, and I'm like, guys, I'm kind of dead in the water. Like, I mean, obviously, I see the trail in front of me, but I don't know where we're supposed to go from here.
Yeah.
So, anyways, and like when Onyx first came out, I was like, I don't know. But dude, ever since their latest update, dude, they have turn by turn stuff now. Like, so, even for guys on like motorcycles and stuff like that, like, Gaia, you can't use Gaia on a dual sport or motorcycle because the second you go, you're like, oh, I got to take my hand off my handlebar with a glove on and try to like do this,
Yes.
this thing
Yes.
or whatever. And then, you and I went through this with Gaia. They randomly shit. Like, I don't know if it was something in the buyout or what happened, but I don't
Oh,
know, like
dude.
that, remember? And it shared all of our stuff. Like it automatically shared people's private routes and stuff. And so,
You
yeah,
know what it did to me? I don't know if I think we discussed it. You know what it did to
yeah,
me? It unfolded
yes,
all my routes. I have close to I used to make them all in segments. So
yep,
a segment of dirt, segment of
yep,
pavement, segment of
yep,
dirt. It unfolded all of my stuff. And I spent almost a week trying to put them all back into folders. To only 3 days later, it unfolded half of them, and that's when I was like, okay, I can't do this. I
yep.
can't spend this much time doing that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, the desktop is there's nothing else you can really do. I mean, you could Google
Yeah,
map it, but my goodness, it'll take you 10 times longer to
I
do.
know. Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing with Onyx a lot more lately, and their
Don't tell
desktop.
don't tell nobody, but I started actually liking it, which is
Yeah,
weird. Which is
yeah,
weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with it, and they actually now have you can see they have way more of the dirt roads marked and stuff like that. So like, I don't know, I'm super impressed with it, and I really think Onyx is like kind of the and I learned this recently because you know this, I've kind of begun like talking with some of the Onyx people and learning more about what they're doing and learning more about that platform. But like they actually have like grant funding where they help local communities open up routes and campsites and I mean all kinds of super cool stuff. And as far as I know, I don't think Gaia does any kind of like giving back and investment back into the community and stuff like that I'm aware of, and I could be wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm the only reason I still use Gaia at all, and I'm moving away from this, is I have so much historic data in Gaia that moving it all into Onyx is going to take forever. So, but I've slowly been doing that, and I'm going to be fully off Gaia probably in the next couple months. So, I'll obviously on my website, I'll still provide all the different, stuff or
Yeah,
whatever,
well,
but
yeah, and
I'm
that'll
just
be
kind of
me
done
too.
with it.
I started offering the Onyx file with a
Yep.
Gaia file since
Yep.
that's the waypoints. That's the only difference.
It's just
But
the
I'm gonna,
waypoint icons work, so you don't have to go
yeah,
through and
bunch
change them
of
all.
black little
Yep.
X's everywhere. It's not fun. But
Yeah.
I'm working
No,
on
that.
Garmin, which Garmin is rough. I don't know how people do that stuff, man. Whew.
Yeah, I haven't fully
PhD for
understood
that.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't fully understood how all of that works. So,
I'm
anyways,
working on it. I'm working on
yeah.
it. I'll share with you. You know that.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, as you learn. So,
Yeah.
guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. Here's what you need to do, everybody that's watching. Right now, we've got quite a few people watching live, but people always come back on the back end and watch it later. So, if you are watching, you need to do two things. Number one, you should like this video, this live stream, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And while you're on the YouTubes, because you should head over to Tony's channel, Vman1313 Adventures. Subscribe to his channel because that dude puts out 10 times as many videos as I do. He's always putting out great videos of great adventures. And you need to head over to his website and you need to buy the Fundle Bundle. We've named it.
Fundle.
It's now
I'm
the
gonna go
Fundle
change the
Bundle.
name right now. I'm gonna nickname it the Fundle Bundle.
The Fundle Bundle. Everybody needs to go buy the Fundle Bundle.
That
And
lifetime maps will be there for a little while longer. I
lifetime
think till
maps.
about
Yep.
probably till March, and then I'm gonna start. I think I got 5 routes right now. I'm about to put up anyway. So as soon as those
Yeah.
go up, that's gonna be. I'm just gonna go up on that. So yeah, get that while you
Dude.
can. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, get it while you can. Head on over to Tony's thing. And if you're planning to come to the Save Expo, or if you're not planning to come to Save Expo, come to the Save Expo. It's going to be great. You can still buy tickets. That is happening the last weekend in February into March. So I think it's February 28th to the
28th.
March 2nd or something like that. Yeah. So come to that and hang out with me and Tony. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah.
Tony, you know some of this. But there's even some things that you don't know about yet. But I've got some pretty big announcements that we'll be making at the expo. I'm pretty excited about this. There's some stuff that's in the works with some different things. I'll give you a teaser. You know this. I am into building race cars and motorcycles and all that stuff, and I have this dream of owning my own shop. And obviously, I'm not a mechanic, but I know some great mechanics and stuff like that. So my dream is to open up a Overland Outfitters or Adventure Vehicle Outfitters type of a thing underneath the Sunshine State Adventure Co. brand. So I've been dreaming about that and having some conversations about what that could look like, so that people in Florida that are needing to have their rigs worked on or built, they've got a place to go, and we can host events and trail rides and all kinds of cool stuff. So it's nothing official yet, but we're having combos. You know,
Listen, I know you. It's gonna happen, brother. I know you. You don't have to be a mechanic. You will find the people. You will make it happen.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome, man. That's
yeah,
awesome.
for sure. I mean, I can work on my own stuff in Redneck Rig It, but I assure you, nobody wants me to work on their stuff. So super excited about that. Tony, thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight, man.
Thank you,
You
brother.
are a
Thank
great
you,
friend.
man. Thank you.
The way that we end all of our live streams is I give you as much time as you want to say whatever you want, put whatever positivity and greatness into the world that you have, plug all your things, tell people where to find you, and we'll wrap it on that. Ready, set, go.
First, I'm going to start by thanking this man right here, man. His encouragement, his support always, always saying, you got this, you can do this, you should try this. And a lot of times I already had it here, but it's just that little push that he gives you. And all of you that know, I met him at Save last year, and the people that follow him, man, they all say the same thing. People flock to him. And so it's that vision, it's that positivity, it's that push that he has that, that's what makes us similar, where he might be an extrovert, I might be an introvert, but we both have that vision, but we have that positivity that we always want to keep going. And that's really what I do with my channel, with my routes, with my everything that I try to do is to inspire. don't wait till you're dying. Don't wait till you're broken. Don't wait till tomorrow. You know, you don't need $500,000 to get out there on a little trail and ride it around. Get out there, explore, discover, and conquer it, man. Just get out there and have fun. And it's Vman1313 out.
Awesome, dude. Tony,
Yeah,
you
man.
are the man. I hope that you get a ton of sales and a ton of subs out of it. You
Appreciate it, man.
deserve it, my friend. And I'm looking forward to getting a Panhandle Adventure Trail trip scheduled with you. That'll be a ton of.
You tell me when.
All right, man. That'll be sweet. And just a reminder, if somebody knows who Matt Willett is, let them know. He won $500 or a winch and a trip for you and your buddies. So excited about that. Tony, thanks for hanging out. I'll talk to you soon. Those of you that are watching, thanks for watching. Appreciate your time.